Alright, what's up everybody? It's your boy Sir Splash. Been a while since I've uploaded. I've had a crazy schedule and got one-shotted by the sun the other day, sunburn, so been kind of KO'd and just been chilling. But today I'm here with my boy GB, if you want to say what's up.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And we're gonna be going over some power scaling for Looney Tune characters, including the likes of Bugs Bunny, Tasmanian Devil, and Marvin the Martian. And we're kind of going to explain why not only do they slap and they're overpowered, but we feel like their scaling, oftentimes people try to make it seem illegitimate, even though they actually do have serious feats. So, GB, do you want to get started with the basically like the real life feats Bugs Bunny has, because he'd be doing shit in real life too?
Oh yeah, sure, we can do that. So, Bugs Bunny many times since his debut has crossed over into the real life world. We know this because of his direct interactions with real humans in the world, so like Michael Jordan, Steve Harvey, Blake Griffin, and people of that. Given that these are their real identities, we know this is legit. You can do anything from summon them through random portals. He can BFR them if he wants. He can turn them into fiction, like he does in certain KFC commercials. He's also appeared in some Dr. Pepper commercials, singing along with other actors like Arsenio Hall. And in terms of mention, Steve Harvey also mentions him in his own sitcom or his show, where he refers to Bugs Bunny as his best friend. So he has plenty of real life interactions, and obviously the Space Jam movie with Michael Jordan is a classic, and where he pulls Michael Jordan into the Toon world and proceeds to interact with him. And furthermore, you can look for more on that when Space Jam 2 comes.
Yeah, so the thing with the Bugs Bunny power scaling, especially in terms of real life stuff, is I feel like a lot of times it's people write it off like, oh, it's just jokes, like it's not real power scaling. But like when you see in the versus battle community, a lot of stock is put into, especially when we get into Outerversal and old Transcendence, like, oh, my character views this part of his verse as fiction, and then they'll say, oh, this next tier of character views them as fiction, and so on and so on. But it's like with Bugs Bunny, he views all you hoes as fiction. Like, he views real people as fiction. Like, it's actually pretty absurd. It's like it's almost a double standard if you want to put stock in fictional transcendence, but discredit the stuff Bugs Bunny does. It's a little unfair, especially when you see shit like AR saying he's fucking like what, continent level, state level, something like that. Yeah, it's retarded. But I'm gonna get into the like fiction, actual feats they've had in comics. Specifically, one of my favorite comics I've read in a while, just because it's absurd, which was Tasmanian Devil and the Wonder Woman crossover in 2017, which actually falls within the timeline of DC Rebirth, which is funny because there's a lot of wank there. But anyway, so basically, Wonder Woman, I think it was Circe, or Circe, whatever, however you say, bodied, Circe bodied her homegirls. Wonder Woman's like, yo, we just got sauced. I think they were turned into statues and they were gonna die soon. So she was like, I need a way to get an amulet to stop her. So she goes to the jungle, the Tasmanian jungle. She's like, there's basically a god here, like chaos incarnate, and he's the one that can help me. And that pulls up, and she's like, oh shit. Like, even though she's searching for his help, the fact is Wonder Woman admits she has absolutely no chance against Tasmanian Devil in a fight. He will bop her on sight. So she ends up convincing him to help her find this. They go to the labyrinth, and they run into another guardian quote. She calls Taz a guardian. Do you want to quickly explain like the weird animal god thing they have going on there with the Minotaur, especially?
Yeah. The Minotaur, the way they interpret him for what the Tasmanian views him as when he thinks to himself what she's talking about, what she's referring to. That version of the Minotaur can be found in Kenan Kong's run as Superman in New Superman, which also takes place in Rebirth. You can get information on that. They're basically gods from the Hell Realm, and they serve like as demon lords and gods and stuff like that. They're basically really powerful entities and can only be summoned through rare occurrences, but they're very strong. In terms of where Tasmanian Devil scales to them, I think Splash is gonna get into this right now, but yeah, Tasmanian Devil like shit.
Yeah. So, nah, you could cuss, dude. We're ratchet out here, but so Taz, Wonder Woman pull up to the Minotaur, and he rocks Wonder Woman. He's like, "Yo, Taz, you're supposed to be from our hood, but you bring this girl along, and she's clearly corrupted you." So he's like, "Yo, I gotta kill her for like corrupting you." And Taz, he doesn't talk, but he like has mental. It just shows mental images that he's thinking of, in terms of his processing. And Wonder Woman promised him a feast, and my boy Taz likes his food. Like, he wants his bucket of chicken. Come hell or high water, if you tell Taz he's getting chicken, dog. Like, but so he thinks of it. He thinks of Wonder Woman. He like loves Wonder Woman because she plays music for him too, which she plays. I don't know what instrument it is, the one with the strings. Expose me in the comment section, you fucking band members. But anyways, so she plays music for him, and she's getting him a feast. She's like, "Yo, this is my girl." So when he realizes the Minotaur is gonna body her, he legit. You gotta understand, the Minotaur blitzes Wonder Woman, who, in the recent DC Speedster list, she's on there. He blitzes her. Taz blitzes him, and the Minotaur is legit like, "Yo, chill." Like, it's not that, like, it is serious, but at the same time, like, there's nothing I can do against you. Like, chill out. It doesn't matter. Like, legit one shots the Minotaur, and Wonder Woman's like, okay, you can stop. Like, you bodied him. We're good. So they get their stuff. They go to confront Cersei, and basically Cersei has an entire army prepared. And Wonder Woman is like, "Yo, I'll fight Cersei. You handle literally everyone." And at this point, Taz had armor. They went and got armor. And Wonder Woman, when she was in the presence of the armor, she's like, "This is like godly power. I can literally feel the power of this armor." So, like, that's how stupidly OP the armor was. But you got to remember, Taz was already overpowered. Anyways, we see Wonder Woman beat Cersei and free her people, and then we see Taz standing on top of the body of literally every monster from that army that attacked him. Like, legit just ran through the six, like, on some Drake shit, and just bodied everyone. And then he gets to the feast, or he shows up at the feast. All the Amazons are there, Wonder Woman. They can't process the speed at which he blitzed them and took all their food. And they just had to chalk it up to like, "Yo, we gotta let the man eat." Like, we did promise him this, and he did come through clutch, so it was fine. But Taz literally blitzes Wonder Woman, and then blitzes the person that blitzes Wonder Woman. That's how stupidly fast Taz is. And do you want to explain the significance of that speed scaling in terms of someone like Bugs?
Oh yeah, Bugs definitely scales far above Taz and Daffy. He's relative to Speedy Gonzalez, relative to Roadrunner. You could argue he's even above them for other purposes we'll probably get into later in the video. But yeah, like, in terms of Taz specifically, Bugs Bunny scales way above Taz in terms of.
Yeah, like he's casually messed around with Taz and evaded him, and kind of made him look like a joke when Taz was trying to tag him. Like Daffy, who Bugs has never had an issue with competing with, has blitzed Taz before. There's actually a scene where he tricks Taz because, you know, Daffy's usually soft, but gets him into like a room, or I think it was a stable, and beats the shit out of Taz. I don't remember why he did it, but he did it. I mean, it happened. So like, and then we saw one of the funnier comics was Flash was running, and he said, "Entity is chasing me." And it was funny because it's almost like a situation where he was running from death. He's like, something is chasing me, and I don't know what it is. And he's like, but I'm not going to let it get me. And he's like, I'm going all out. And then it doesn't matter. This boy Speedy Gonzalez toasts his ass. And and like, you know, people always argue. The main argument you always hear for Flash scaling is Flash was probably holding back. Flash isn't going all out. Like, we hear that all the time. This boy Flash legit says, yo, I'm giving it everything I got, but it doesn't matter, Chief. And Speedy just runs by and is like, all right, see you later, fam. Like, you're slow as shit, boy. And then he's like, oh god. But yeah, so he scales above Flash, who's going all out. And then Speedy, I wouldn't necessarily say I mean, this is funny to say, but it's true at the same time. Maybe in raw speed, you could probably give the consistent edge to Speedy, but in terms of combat speed, I'd put Bugs significantly higher, which obviously in terms of power scaling means a lot more. Now, do you want to get into like, we've seen other absurd things like Taz versus Mixie.
Oh yeah, when Taz so apparently in this issue where Mixie has been teleported to the Toon World, I guess you could say, and we know as of Rebirth, Mixie can open doors to the 6th dimension, and we know everybody knows the scaling for that, obviously higher than that. However, what's interesting about this, before we even get started on the actual event at hand, Mixie can't escape this dimension without help. So Taz at this point comes up to him and is like, yo, it's nice to meet you, but here's what I like to eat. And he shows him a book, like basically a big menu of everything he likes to eat. And Mixie sees that he likes to eat him. And at this point, Mixie like shits himself, turns around and tries to run away, and is begging to be like teleported out of the. So yeah.
Yo, this man legit said, oh dude, he was fucking terrified. He was like, yo, I can't stay here because this is the land of Taz, and Taz is literally gonna eat my butthole. And so Taz legit puts on a what the fuck do you call it? A bib.
A bib?
And is like, yeah, he's like, I'm about to get in that ass. And Mixie barely escapes. And he's like, if we don't get out of here, he's actually gonna fucking eat me. And and Taz was like, Taz literally viewed him as a snack. He wasn't even like, this isn't even serious, dog. Like, you're trash. And so we have that, right, with Taz casually being like, he scales above Mixie, who has some absurd scaling to go along with it. But it just shows like it's absurd. We see Roadrunner, who's kind of like fodder in the verse of Looney Tunes. Like he is strong, he's fast as shit, obviously, but he doesn't really do stuff in combat. And we saw like Lobo. He was like a legit target for Lobo, and he didn't care about the fact that Lobo Roadrunner like basically viewed him like he views the Coyote, like not really a threat at all. He'll just do the race. And this is significant because everyone knows my Lobo scaling. He's casually blitzed Superman before. He's taken out the Flash when Flash tried to blitz him. He's bodied Shazam. He's bodied Lanterns. He's bodied gods. Like, Lobo's a monster. And Roadrunner was very comfortable in their matchup. And then we got someone like you want to discuss the brief interaction. This was funny because where someone said when we were in chat, they're like, oh, Marvin looks like he's shook, like going up against Manhunter. You want to tell him what the next page said?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think I don't remember well, but I think from what I remember, Martian actually just is like tired of him and finds he finds Manhunter to be an annoyance, and I think he one shots him if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah, he pulls up on him, and he's towering over Martian Manhunter. He's like, "Yo, dog, there's only one slot for Martians here, and it's not finna be your ass." And Martian Manhunter was like, "Oh, fuck!" And then like Marvin pulls out like fire crystals or whatever. And he's like, "I'm about to get in that ass. Like, let's get it." Now, do you want to discuss the Bugs Bunny Superman stuff, including his immunities?
Oh yeah, so Bugs Bunny becomes Superman, and he's done this over time, in classic cartoons, in recent stories, sometimes even movies. However, in this particular issue, Bugs Bunny is sleeping and he wakes up to find out that he's been teleported into the DC world, and he just takes up the mantle of Superman. So, in order to save these heroes from what's called the Ant, not sure if I'm pronouncing that right.
How do you spell it? Is the angst?
Yeah, the angst.
Yeah, the angst. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's this thing is like tormenting heroes. Like everything under what describes this is essentially it's the embodiment of madness. It's like beyond anything you can understand. It's just the embodiment of madness. Bugs Bunny is watching as all the heroes are being tormented by this thing, and he runs up to it, grabs it, rubs it on his face, and starts playing around like it's gonna torment him. And then he just chucks it away and breaks the fourth wall and says, "Lucky enough to be immune to the Ant." Like, he's broke. And also obviously becoming Superman, just simply him putting on the outfit literally gave him all the powers of Superman and anything else that he already had.
Yeah, it's like these characters legit come to your verse and do you better than you do you. It's like the most disrespectful shit you'll ever. Like, there's one. It's a pretty funny scene. GB, when we started scaling this, like that was one of the first things he brought up was you want to tell them about the author versus Bugs Bunny scuffle, the little squabble they had.
Oh yeah, so there's been plenty of times where the Looney Tunes have had disagreements with the artist or the author, the writer, and in one instance, Daffy in particular is having a really hard time with a specific author, and this author keeps closing the page on him, drawing doors, shutting him out, and then finally at the end one final door is drawn and closed on Daffy, and Daffy can't open it anymore. And when the camera zooms out, the author is revealed to be Bugs Bunny himself in a real studio in somewhere in Warner Brothers. So yeah.
Like, dude, the other reason the scaling's important and the context of the scaling is like, okay, so we get in a versus battle, and I do this a lot. When you're going up against a stronger character or something, you bring up the in-character argumentation, like, okay, in character, would your guy even do this? I know he's capable of it, but like, would he do this? Kind of like if I had a gun on me, would I really shoot that person, or do I just have a gun on me? We know for a fact Bugs Bunny's an asshole. Like,
yeah, he's lazy.
Bugs, yeah, like, but Bugs will. If you try Bugs will clap back, like, no doubt. And like we see this with Daffy all the time. That it was basically like Daffy became like the embodiment of Zod, Bugs embodiment of Superman. They had a cartoon of it too, and it was actually like a really good looking Justice League animation. It's kind of weird, but you know, I'm not gonna hate. But they match up, go at it. You know, Bugs Bunny doesn't have the kryptonite issue, so he's basically on some like Superboy Prime shit, like just out here wilding. He's not affected by magic either. Like, he doesn't really have any weaknesses. He's just Superman. But yeah, like, Bugs will really do it. And this is like the one instance where the artist and the writer were drawing and writing the story, and Bugs was like, yo, I'm not really feeling this, Chief. And the author's like, I don't care. And Bugs like, oh, like, that's how we're getting down. And they like start literally fighting over the pen. And Bugs like overpowers him, and then just starts writing his own shit. He's like, get out of here, little boy. Like, it's a wrap for you, Chief. So and it's like, I just hate how there's this cognitive dissonance where we will scale something like DC and be like, yo, look at this fictional transcendence. Then we go over to Looney Tunes and we're like, oh, that's just like narrative manipulation. That's not like actual transcendence. Like, what? Like, this dude goes to KFC and turns you into fiction. Like, that's how absurd it is. And the fictional trend, I do think, is a slippery slope in all facets, because I think it's funny, if you really think about it, with our tiering, the real world is legit high outer versal based on our logic, which is really funny, because humans create the fiction. And it's a little... The thing that makes Bugs OP, this will be like one of the last points we talk about, and I'll let you kind of get into it, is what we discuss when we argue with people about this scaling, because, you know, some people might haven't agreed with it. Is Bugs, it's one thing if a character controls their own, but Bugs just control his own fiction, if you kind of want to elaborate on what I mean by that.
Yeah, so obviously we've been bringing up a lot of scaling into DC. He goes into DC Comics and he just does what he wants. However, there's been movies before or instances before where, aside from hopping into the real world, interacting with real people, he can just hop into painting. And paintings obviously are their own form of fiction. They have their own laws, which Bugs Bunny outright ignores because he doesn't give a fuck. And he can just manipulate these fictions however he wants. And he does whatever he wants in his fiction. Bugs Bunny, just for all intents and purposes, you could argue is fictionless, almost.
Yeah, it's like really weird, and I discovered this photo just to kind of prove Bugs Bunny's on some next level shit in the video. So don't know if y'all know the Dr. Phil Eminem meme where he's doing it to him, but I found this photo at Disney World from 2006 of a little kid with Daffy Duck, I think it's Daffy Duck, and Bugs Bunny. And I'm like, cool picture. Then I zoom in on Bugs because something was off. There's like this power aura coming off of him. I start in and I zoom in on it more, and in 2006 was legit doing it to him. I was like, oh, like, fuck, like, this man legit was memeing before the meme was even conceptualized by humans. So but it was funny as shit though when I found it, because I like sent it slowly, like zoomed in to GB, and he didn't know where I was going with it. Then he saw the Dr. Phil hands on Bug. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyways, yeah, we just it's been a while since, you know, I've made videos. I've been doing a lot of shit, but yeah, the Looney Tunes, you know, oftentimes people ask me to scale stuff like this because they enjoy my debates featuring like Swiper, my debates featuring Courage. Bugs and the Looney Tunes Squad is a legit issue for anyone. So, anyways, if you guys want to see more scaling and stuff like this, let me know. Me and GB love doing this shit. Come join the Discord if you want to talk to us about this or see where we get our information. GB, thank you for coming on and doing this Hood Rat stuff with me.
That was my pleasure.
I'm glad we got to give y'all the meta truth. Anyways, like, subscribe, comment, join the Splash Patreon for the Splash Club, and we will see y'all later. Peace.